Hello and welcome to another episode of the SENDhelp Podcast, and this has been a long-awaited episode because I have finally, people, got my first man on the podcast. I don't know why we don't want to be on podcast, but it's taken me a year and a half, but we're finally there. So I'm already off the back. I'm excited about this one because it's going to be different just from that perspective. But also, Jack is an author and he's got a really, really good book, and not just a book, a message about kind of. Well, I'll let him explain it better. I'm not going to butcher that, actually. So, actually, I'll hand over to Jack, actually, because, again, he's gone through the SEND journey himself. He's got a child with the SEND needs, and he's managed to put all of his experiences that he's gone through into a really fantastic book. And I'll let him explain you the book rather than me. So, without further ado, here's Jack.
Thanks. Hi, I'm Jack. I'm a SEND professional, SEND parent, disability myself. So I cover all three bases, I suppose.
Triple threat.
Triple threat. The unicorn of disability. But yeah, I've been a professional for nearly 20 years, coming up on my 19th anniversary very soon. Been a SEND parent for 12 of those 18 years. And the reason for the book, it's called Let the Child Lead. I'm going to do a shameless plug. Available on Amazon in the UK, paperback, Kindle internationally. There'll be links and all that jazz, I'm sure. But the reason it was written is because the mother of my child used to say to me, "You're treating our daughter like work." And I was like, I don't see it. But the more and more I went to appointments and the more and more I was advocating for my daughter, I realised, actually, I'm coming at this as a professional. I'm not coming at this as a parent. And so I needed a way to express, actually, I'm in two minds. And looking at it from a parent's point of view, professionals don't get it. And from a professional's point of view, they don't understand the parents, let alone the kids. Or let alone, I use the word client only because of the nature of my job, but I'm sure there's nicer words than client. But, and that's it really, it's, parents need to understand where the professionals are coming from. Professionals need to understand where the parents are coming from. And somewhere in all of that, we've forgotten that the whole reason we're all doing it is for the child, is the person in the centre of it all.
Yeah. And that's fantastic. And that's exactly what your kind of book kind of explains. It goes into detail with, isn't it? And it is very sad to see it so common now. So I speak to hundreds of families I've spoken to and professionals, and you do sometimes wonder, like, has anyone spoken to the child? Where's the child's voice in this? Like, has anyone asked this child if they would like this or they wouldn't like this? It's a lot of spoken for the child without the child's input, isn't it?
Oh, 100%. And I think when I was doing my daughter's EHCP, there's a section, A or B, somewhere in the beginning, that is, you need to fill this out, but write it in the child's voice. Now, my daughter, when we was applying, was 2, 3. It's tough. But when you're writing in their voice, are you writing what you want in their voice, or are you writing what they want? And I use an example in the book. There was a bit like, what do you want to be when you grow up? It's asked more professionally than that in the paperwork. But essentially, it's, what do you want to be when you grow up? My daughter was 3. Her answer was, I want to be a cat or a tree. So I put it down on the paperwork. And I got such a telling off from the SENCO at the nursery, from the local authority, the mother of my child. And I'm like, it's a working document. She might want to be a tree this week, but we can change it. It will change in 6 months' time when she wants to be a doctor or a vet or a dog. Like, it don't matter. It's her. It's what she wants.
Yeah. It's a good example of it, isn't it? Because I had it. So when my working background, so my professional background was obviously working in care. Working in school first, so challenging behaviour and autism with like learning disabilities, and then kind of went up there, becoming a senior, then went to adult services, and ended up doing management. And a lot of what I saw in there, and the big enthusiasm, emphasis at the time was about the resident having a voice. So instead of you doing care plans or something for them about what you need, you'd get them to write it with them, and you'd find a ways to enable them on their level to write it with them. But it seems like that sort of approach is so far away from what's happening in the schools at the moment. And it seems like that was a very good, because it was written with the, if able, of course, was written with the person, the service user or whatever, like the client or whatever. And I think that it took them so long to get it, and they're doing it now. But in schools, it's so far away from that, because there's such a, I don't know why, it's almost like the kids spoken at all the time, isn't it? And it never really, either way, doesn't get a decision on what's said. It's kind of, it's horrible, isn't it? Like,
well, so this is my opinion of the system. Come at me if you want to come at me. But 30, 40 years ago, when disability became part of the community, and you wasn't just putting people in homes because they had needs, ended up in a medical house because everyone in that house has a medical need, it meant the doctors are in the same place. Cool beans. When it became care in the community, we were like, oh, this is perfect. Care in the community, everyone deserves a chance. No one looked at what care in the community or putting that person first actually meant. They just knew it was a good idea. And roll on 30, 40 years, we're still trying to do that, but I don't think we've moved much further than trying. Because the amount of times I've seen a professional sit down with client, service user, child, and they'll go, well, I think you could do this. And 9 times out of 10, in my experience, the person don't care. They're not interested in what they're cooking for dinner. They just want to know what it's coming. I don't care what subjects I'm doing in school. I want them to be interesting, and if they're not, I'll just ignore it, and I'll give you a behaviour. There's a school that I know of in the London area that at year 7, they take the child on for a year, they learn their strengths and weaknesses, they ignore what primary school did, they learn their strengths and weaknesses, year 7, year 8, they then say, do you know what? It looks like you're really into hairdressing. We're going to put you on a level 1 hairdressing course. So by the time you get to college, you're going to be at a level 3 like everybody else. So that when you go in, you've had all this over teaching before you get to the level 3. They can then access the level 3 with their peers, not necessarily in a special setting.
That sounds great.
And I go, okay, cool. Hairdressing, bricklaying, animal care, like you name it, they tailor it to the child's interests. Wow. And if they've got enough children that want to do the course, they will run it themselves at the school. And if they haven't, they will say, they have to compromise a little bit by saying, look, do English and maths here, but on a Thursday and Friday, we'll take you on the minibus to the horse stables, and you can do your animal care level 1 through the local stables. You can do your level 1 hairdressing through a hairdresser that we know, that's got a shop that's willing to have people on, and an educator that's there to be able to do the course with them.
That's amazing.
That's what education should be, full stop.
It should be, and it does, because if you're talking about sit-down things, especially with neurodiversity, that's where they thrive, in hands-on and interest. They get hyper-focused on stuff, so it's kind of delaying the inevitable if you're not putting a kid who has an interest in year 7 of hairdressing through to college to wait till all that time. when they've had to learn all this other information, and it's for no reason. For what job? Again, I would argue now, that are you training all these qualifications for? Because with AI and the way that society's going with short form content and how much content pays, there is no real intention to sit in school and do these lessons now.
Oh no, my daughter wants to be a YouTuber or online influencer, so much so that a couple of Christmases ago, for Christmas, I built her a studio. I literally got her all the gear and went, right, you're only 10 at the time. I was like, you're not posting it online, but you can learn the skills if you want to. You can sit, you can edit, you can record, you can mess about with your mates, lighting, all that sort of stuff. Roll on 2 years, she's not that interested in it anymore, but I've got a studio.
Yeah, and what did she learn when she done it? As I said, like stuff like editing, lighting and stuff, it's a nightmare. I naively went into this world because, again, I didn't try to be a social media person. One of my videos blew up and I was like, oh, and I just kept doing videos similar and it kept going. But I was surprised how quickly that become a job.
Oh, no, 100%.
So you say it's like quickly, but then the skills you learn in that, as it's just like very, very broken down. Editing, knowing at different lighting conditions, knowing what people, again, sociology and psychology, knowing what audiences are going to like, knowing what to say. There's so many skills that won't be taught in school that just by having an interest on doing that and you enabling that skill, you've learned so many things that are not going to get taught in school.
And to be completely honest, if she then become a banker for argument's sake, most of that's video call now. Mm-hmm. No one walks into a branch anymore. So actually, I've given her some skills that she was interested in at the time. She's now got those skills. She can continue to practice those skills should she want to. But it's put her in good stead so that when she does leave school and whatever it is that she chooses to do, everything, like you say, AI and online now anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. And it begs the question, doesn't it, of like what... If schools ain't offering that, it shouldn't be. I mean, of course, we should tie into our kids' interests, but if it's school related and educational wise, why should we have to go out of our way to build studios when it should be an access at school?
Oh, 100%. It would take nothing to change the closet that no one uses.
Yeah.
Put a microphone, a red light, a Ring camera. Job done. Everyone's got a laptop at school nowadays anyway.
What a popular lesson. Who's not good? So yes, 7 and 8. So I love that. And as I said, all the learning you could get in there, all the little maths, English, all the stuff that you could do. You could tailor the video and the content. You can make it educational.
Yeah, and if you were to school radio, like, come on now, you could literally pre-record radio over the course of the day, but the children have got access to listening to it or downloading it on their digital classroom or whatever. Like, going to and from school, headphones in. I used to carry the huge CD player around with me everywhere because I was not interested in listening to anybody on the way to and from school. I used to walk an hour and a half. I used to get through an album. Now I can sit on a bus and all those albums are in my pocket. But that's what you could be doing. Yeah. And it's over-learning. If it's something that they're like, oh, my friend Freddie and my mate Dave did 15 minutes on the school radio talking about the football match last night. Perfect.
Yeah. It's just about, they're not creative, are they? They're very rigid schools, aren't they, with that approach? And I think that's where the friction comes with, I think, the parental friction in a sense of they don't seem to want to adapt in a sense of about we're talking about millions of solutions, so we can all the podcasts about it and it seems so easy but yet it's not implemented.
Well, this is why so many people are home educating now. Mm-hmm. Because that rigid timetable in, I'm going to use a big paintbrush and say mainstream, because there are some great specialists provisions out there. I've worked in many of them. Can't fault them. But it feels like the level of access to that is, the more of a disability you have, the more likely you are to access these services, when actually that kid who's Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Like,
it's really, they should. It's like the Hunger Games. It's like, I don't know how to describe it, isn't it? Especially now with the white paper coming out, and they're like, it's almost like you fight for to be the worst, and it's almost like they're the ones that now, if you're putting everyone in mainstream, you know they're not going to get the support, and it doesn't make sense. The specialist schools sometimes work so well because they don't have to follow such a rigid structure as in the timetable or curriculum, and that's why they thrive. And they've still not taken note in that into the mainstream. Like,
no, and
down the curriculum and add more freedom.
And the fact that qualifications now have changed as well anyway. When I was at school, it was you got a pass or a fail, or you got a letter grade, A, B, C, D, E, F. Now it's a scale of 1 to 9, and I have absolutely no idea if 1 is the best or 9 is the best.
Yeah, I bet
no idea.
1 or something as well. We'll be back because I bet 1's the best.
See, I've heard that 9 is the best.
Oh, I bet.
Depends on what kid you ask.
Yeah. God, they don't
I know that I walked out of college with a D, an E, and a U. Like, college weren't for me. I didn't find education and wanting to better myself till I was in my late 20s.
Same, to be fair.
I didn't enjoy reading at all until my early 30s. I didn't realise how much I enjoyed writing until my early 30s. And now I've got a book. Like,
yeah,
that's something I would have never thought for myself as a kid.
And do you think as well, a lot of that is what they take away from us at school? So, like, they don't give you the hope that you could do any of these things as much as you don't. Because I feel like I'm kind of similar. It's like the 30s have been my peak years. It's like I've started a business, I've started doing what I need to do on my own, I've started to find myself, like, and it's just like, why didn't I do that before? But I think if I look back at school, they would never have given me enough confidence that I was able to run a business, able to, like, as you said, write a book, or to do, because of how stigmatised and how much you got in trouble at school. It just kind of wears off till you're later and realise, oh, none of that mattered, I could do what I want.
Oh no, 100%. I am going to be careful to give not identifiable information here, but I went to a school that was a all-boys Catholic school between the ages of 10 and 16, right? Educationally, I felt like my school taught me nothing. Socially, emotionally, and societally, I cannot thank them enough.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I'm still friends with the 150 boys that I went to school with in my year. We still all talk. Life gets in the way as you get older, but we all still talk. People have got kids. We do birthday parties, weddings, funerals, Christmases. Like, we're still there knocking about in each other's lives. And that's what school garnered for me. But educationally, I walked out of a D, an E and a U. And still got into uni because I was one of 4 boys that applied for the Bachelor of Honours in Special Educational Needs and Disabilities.
Oh, wow.
I got into uni with a D, an E and a U solely on my gender.
Did you not? Your gender?
Yeah. I was one of 4 boys that applied. The rest of the course was women.
Yeah.
And because they can't see to be discriminating, anyone who applied for that course, if you was a boy, you was in.
Oh, wow. I suppose that's you're right, didn't it, I suppose? Do you know, it's a very interesting point you put. I never thought of it that way, but you're exactly right in the sense of what school taught me was nothing much educationally, but it actually taught me everything I needed to know for social situations.
Yeah.
And the real world, in the sense of, I don't know if I went to like mainstream, so it's like the bullying, the hierarchy, the different groups, what you do, like all of that. I could, if I didn't, and this is, I got really, when my mum put my sister into autistic school, special school, I was fuming because of that reason. And I knew, I was like, you're gonna set her up to fail. She's gonna come out of there and get bullied because you haven't set her up to any. I was thinking, all these things I've learned, you're not gonna learn any of that. And I was panicking, but it's hard now, isn't it? Because as you said, the home education, and you're taking kids away from that. And I don't think, yes, the education's crap, but the education, as you said, is not as needed as they put the pressure on, because you have got time. on your side. But what you do miss is them social growing up in a safe setting. So you can have bullying when there is adults about, that there is people to intervene. Where you go out to a workplace, you don't learn that, you don't know how to do that, it gets really bad. You end up then really on the edge, mental health and stuff like that, you know? You naively think the world's going to be safe. You come out, it's not. Where school kind of goes with that.
You go to a teacher, you go to HR. It's literally, you're transferring that skill.
Yeah.
Sir, he's bullying me. HR, I didn't like the way that they said that to me. Have a word. Like, it's literally those skills. Yeah. At school, I was a big boy. I mean, I'm still a big boy. But in year 7, I was wearing 58-inch trousers. Like, I was a big boy. And I was bullied horrifically for my weight. Horrifically. And I wasn't in primary school. As soon as I got to year 7...
Year 7, innit? Yeah.
That was it. Someone said something to me. In fact, I remember exactly what it was. It was, I bet when you was at primary school, you sat next to everybody. Now, my childlike brain went, well, we didn't really have a seating plan at school, so yeah, no, I did. I probably did sit next to everybody. And that was my answer to this here. And everyone laughed. And I was thinking to myself for ages, what are you laughing for? Like, you've said something, I've answered honestly, and what? Yeah. And it wasn't until I got home and spoke to my old man and went, there was this really weird interaction today. And he went, yeah, welcome to bullying. And it was like, oh.
Yeah. But
with my daughter, she's in a specialist placement now, and she's got no clue. Absolutely no clue how cruel the world can be.
Yeah.
And that's a fear for me when she turns 16, 18, when she chooses to go to college or into the real world job, whatever it is she chooses to do. Actually, has she learnt those skills? They will do lessons about it at school, completely different to experiencing it every day for 7 years.
Yeah, yeah. And it's horrible to think that even in that setting at school, it is just shaping your future, because especially doing social media, and I know you do social media as well, so you'll see it doesn't change. You still have the same people ripping people in the comment section now that you would have had in school. And it's almost, again, that you would build, I'm numb to that. So because of school, I knew, again, because I'm obviously a person of colour, but it wasn't, I don't want to say it's racism, it was racist comments, but everyone was free game. If you was like an 8th Polish, you're Polish, and that's it. That is it. Like, we're doing all the jokes, we're doing everything. If you was like a quarter Greek, that was it. You was from Cyprus.
If you've got a Z in your surname, fair game.
Yeah, no, that's it. Like, yeah. So it's pretty much like that. But what it done, it gives you the expectation of what people are going to say to you. So when you get it in adult life, you're desensitized to it. You know it's coming for one. It's not a shock, and you don't personalize it. You're like, it's just, and you could, and you know what as well. You can work with what I found as well. You can work things out with banter. If you learn banter quite well, you can kind of, either bullying doesn't get to bullying because you can give it back. You know,
100%.
And don't know how to deal with it, and then take it, and then it's sort of like, then people kind of home in on that, don't they? And it gets in a really uncomfortable position. And I do worry about that sense, and if I did have to pull my kids out of school, how much of that, because they're going to the real world anyway, isn't it? Like,
exactly.
At that point, even if you go all the way up to uni, there's a transition that you're going to be open to the world.
Yeah.
And that scares me from seeing what I see on social media, because people are too quick to, and will say anything to anyone.
Equally as well, there is an argument that it's a generational thing too. So our children and children currently in mainstream or specialist provision, there are now so many rules against, like, anti-bullying policies, internet bullying policies, that the school can suspend you, detentions, behaviour points, whatever you call it nowadays, right? But like you say, our parents didn't have any of that. So they banter. So when our children get to 18 and start joining the real world, and they're working with Steve from accounting, who's 50 years old, he will show his respect through banter And my daughter would immediately go to HR and be like, Steve said this.
Yeah.
And HR would have nothing but to go, yeah, Steve, you can't say that to her. And Steve has said nothing but, like,
It's the coping.
Did you rub a clown on the way to work? Because those shoes are huge.
I mean,
and that's Steve from accounting in trouble.
And it is like that, and I can see the frustration about people saying you can't say anything anymore, because I know full well at that level that it is exactly like that. So anything done is down to the interpretation of the person that's hearing it. So you could say something, 10 people will be laughing and think that's funny. One person doesn't, you're getting in trouble for that. And no matter what, they found it offensive. And it's like, if people do, and I think I learned that very on, and I've backed down from it now because of that risk of saying something inappropriate or trying to banter. But I used to be oh my God, I used to be so bad. Like, I would be no off game, but because I got it in school. And as I said, there was nothing off game in school. So I learned that you could just give it back, and if anyone says something to me, I'll just say something back. And like, as you get into more positions of workplace, you realise, and as you through the years, that sort of, and English culture's like that, I think, a bit as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
It almost confused the culture system, isn't it? Because as you said, the generation coming up above has not been used to that and see it very person-centred as direct to them, and then report it as like a really safeguarding issue or something.
I show my love through what everyone would probably now call bullying, right? So if I'm out with my daughter, for example, I very rarely, if ever, use her name. So I like, oi, Stinky, come here. Like, to someone on the outside, all right, red flag, safeguarding, Dad said this. Like, actually, no, she gives as good as she gets. She calls me a bumhole. Yeah. Like, she's respectful with it. She knows where the line is, but that's only because I do it with her.
Do you think that's the reason why schools are a bit more reluctant to thinking about it? You know, the teachers that don't make that connection because they're a bit worried about overstepping the line of what deems or the parent might see that's inappropriate. So like, when you get supporting and stuff like that, doing a one-to-one or go out your way for a child, with this day and age, could the parent then, do you put yourself at risk in schools doing that?
Yeah. So I've just recently worked with a client doing education in the community. This particular client had been kicked out of school for behaviour unbecoming. That's about as much detail as I can give you. But so I spent 3 days with her doing education in the community. So we went to the library, did a bit of schoolwork that was set, but she and I spoke about absolutely anything and everything. All reported, and it's all going to get sent off and what have you. But I took no offence to her behaviour, her language, her anything, because are we achieving the goal at the end? Yes. Can I have a little bit of banter back? Yes. Like, I'll give you an example. A really bad example, but I'll give you an example. She wanted to buy something in Superdrug. And I said to her, like, come on then, you've got to show me, like, you've got to do money, you've got to do receipt, you've got to do all that. This is a learning opportunity. You want to buy something, you've got a couple of quid in your pocket. Cool. We'll consider this your break. Let's walk to the shop, and then we'll walk back to the library. Went to the shop, she was looking at something, and I took the opportunity to give her a little bit of space. I didn't need to be on her tail 100% of the time. And then sort of looked at her briefly and then said to her, yeah, no, the spot cream for your bum, that's not in that section. It's in the section over there. And she looked at me and got like, shut up. Like, you're really embarrassing me. If she went to school and said I had said that,
oh God, yeah,
that would be a huge HR, what are you doing? Safeguarding, what are you doing? But I built a rapport with that child by day 3 that we could have those conversations and that banter. I walked with a stick. She was calling me an old man. And stuff like, right, Grandad, I'm going to do the stairs. You can do the lift. I'll meet you at the top. Like, if she'd have called a teacher Grandad in the classroom, that would have been a demerit or a behaviour point or whatever. Did it matter? No.
Yeah.
Is it something that needs to get, not beaten out of children, but is it something that needs to be stripped away from children so that they are respectful for everyone? Also, no.
No. It's that balance, isn't it? It's that middle ground, isn't it? That I was speaking this earlier about how we always have to have a side and never ever can we. People just stay. The grey area of the middle ground of both parties being right blows people's heads off either side of that, doesn't it? So like teachers, about just like the teachers and parents, for to say that you're both wrong, they're like, what? Or you're both right. You're like, well, how can we both be right? One person has to be wrong. People don't accept the narrative of both 50-50, do they? Like, and I think it's hard to get them conversations openly because you're always on one side of that argument. And I think a lot of this is in care homes as well, because a lot of the restrictions you get from what's coming in now is about, you can't say mate. It's really bad. Like, you can't be at risk of making anything that makes them think you like them. That's the way I interpret it. So you can't do anything over the top. You can't go out of your way. So you have to be careful to what you say. You have to call them, like service users. They're not your friends. They're not your mates. You can't have a laugh with them. You're not there to banter. And it's because of the protection. Because if that ever gets taken out of hand, you are going to be in trouble. We're going to be in trouble. And it's like, but then the relationship that you see forming compared to, because I've done it for 30 years, with these new generation and these new staff, is people just go in the room, the staff, and just sit there in the corner and do nothing. Because you've got a relationship, because you've not built a relationship, because you've not gone down to their level, you've not spoken to them on their level, you've spoken to them as like a doctor, a client base all the time. You're just speaking to them like they're an object or someone of your work. And it's very, as you mentioned before, it's speaking to them about work, and it's very, that's where I think it's a grey area of that you need to allow people to have a realistic life, a normal life, and robbing them of normal human interactions that we all do, because we have banter with our mates, it's normal.
Oh,
yeah.
Talking of that grey area, the reason for the book, I live in that grey area. As a parent, I want what's best for my child. If I were her professional, I would want what's best for that child. Doesn't always necessarily marry up, but I can be right as both.
Yeah.
And that little fight that I have in my head, like, I want what's best for you. I want you to be in the best school. I want you to have the best education. But is that important, and do you just need to be happy? As a parent, all I want you to do is be happy. As a professional, I want you to hit every milestone you need to, so that you can be a functioning member of society by the time you hit 18. I have that argument with myself so much.
Yeah.
So much.
And it really doesn't really come to a conclusion, does it? And I think that's another unsettling thing, is you don't come to the final answer. It's almost like what you go with is still there's still risk of it. So it's not conclusive. You don't go, okay, right, I'm 100% sure this is what I want to do now, so I'm just going to practice on happy. You're always in that middle ground all the way through, and I think you adapt it to the lifestyle, isn't it? So if the education's really going, you'll get more worried about the education. If the happiness was going, you get more worried about the happiness. And it's one or the other, isn't it? It's never like one or the other. It's almost like a combined effort throughout the years.
Yeah, no, like it's literally a roller coaster. But you don't know when the next turn, the next drop is. But that fight, because, again, I go about it in the book a little bit, but parents don't understand the professional side of it. Professionals don't understand the parent side of it. Me being in the both, I still don't understand both sides of it.
No.
I don't have the answer to reconcile that for anybody. But there are things that you can do as a parent and as a professional that bridge that better. Make that grey area less grey.
Yeah.
Parents need to accept that the life they want for their children isn't necessarily the life they're going to get, which is a horrible thing to say out loud. But you have to find some peace in it somewhere. And as a professional, you're looking at textbooks and what you've studied and the checklist and the red tape that you've got in front of you. not even considering that parents need support in other areas to be able to support their child. And if professionals took 10 to 15 minutes of an hour meeting to go, Mum, Dad, are you all right? Like, let's not talk about the biggest struggle that the child has right now. What's your biggest struggle? And is your biggest struggle being a barrier for that child? So much would get done. So many children's lives, so many users' lives would be so much better.
It's true, yeah. It's hard to get to that point as well, because I think it's with social media and politicians using it as an agenda. It's so much dynamics, because as you said, I've been a professional, I've been a parent, I understand both, but I don't understand both at the same time, because there's stuff that's missing, isn't there? You do get the odd school that are just absolute idiots. You do get the parent that just wants the world for their child that's hardly got a mild disability. So as much as you try and go a bit in there, the extremes of every end of it just come and flag up all the time, isn't it? So it's so hard, like, to get the balance right. But what I like to say is, ultimately, I think we're at the point, and I think, again, child first, like you're saying, but we need to move away from uniquifying ADHD and autism as our child is special, because our child is not special in the sense of they're the only one in that classroom. There's 3 other people in that classroom who have the same thing. So if for parents' point of view, I think what parents are doing wrong now is trying to ask for too much tailored one-to-one support instead of opened up access for generic support. So if you wanted to, from a professional point of view, if you're thinking that you've got 3 in a classroom now, and the next year you're going to have 4, the year after you're going to have 5, how are you going to spend the time if you have to do that for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? And then it begs the question, if half the class have got SEND needs, how special do you need to treat these individuals? Do you then do one-to-one with only half the class and the other half the class you miss? No. So you have to have them conversations to get to the rationality of what's actually happening, because without knowing that, and then, because I don't think parents would, they wouldn't think, they just think about their child, they do. But then if you're thinking about a profession, you have to think about that professional of what they do as a job. So their job is not just your child. Their job is a classroom. And just thinking it like that will stop a lot of parents, I think, and be a lot more understanding of the situation. You know, some would just say, oh, I don't care, it's my child, fairly enough. But it's them little talks. And if you're not even able to be in the room with these people to have these talks, this is the problem. It's a problem right now, that you can very rarely get a teacher and a parent in a room without an argument happening.
No, I don't. And professionally, I've been very blessed. So I think the biggest group I've ever had is 6. 6 to 1 was where my insurance limit was. But I've, as a professional, have always believed in personalised one-to-one support. The problem is, realistically, in the wider world, it's never going to happen.
No.
Ever. We don't have enough professionals, for a start. And I can't remember where I saw it, but I saw a statistic a couple of weeks ago. The amount of people who are applying at university to become teachers, that number's just going down. Mm. So we're not even breeding a generation that want to go in and teach and do because of the experiences they've had at school.
Yeah.
I don't want to be a teacher. I don't want to look after 30 me's.
Yeah.
I was a horrible kid.
Parents shouting me all the time.
Yeah. Like, what's the point? So I get it.
Yeah. And that's what I said. It's pressure. It's got the divides cause pressure, and that's the effect of it, isn't it? You've got parents putting kids out of school, and then you've got teachers not even going for roles. So you've got a deficit now of no pupils and no staff. So what's going to happen the next generation, the generation after? This is why it's important. Again, as I said, going back to bringing the child to the centre of it, none of that would have happened.
No,
because you're
100%.
What the child wants, and you'd be adapting around the child, not about your personal red tape or whatever you can and can't do.
Do you know what? Why don't we just have topic schools? Do you know what I mean? Like, I know that everyone says English, maths and science is important. I half agree. you should have some literary skills. You should be able to read a book. You should be able to discern information from a book. Equally, maths. You need numbers. You need time. You need money. You need percentages. I get it. But why isn't one of the primary schools in my area solely focused on a wider topic that brings all of that in?
So like they used to do with like the sports colleges, they used to have like their district.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like that.
Why have we not got a engineers primary school? Like, my child's really interested in building and Legos and creating inventions, and that's what they want to do. Sweet. We can give them the skills, we can teach them the maths that are related to measuring the bricks. How many bricks do we need? What's the cost of the bricks?
Yeah.
You know, how long does it take? Well, the box says it takes 10 minutes for 2 people. So does that mean it's going to take 20 minutes for one person? Like, all of those skills. And if they outgrow the topic, brilliant. Because you've got all these other primary schools with all these other topics that may or may not have places. You'd still have the same argument of being on waiting lists and things like that. But I think the education that they do get in the setting that they are in would be richer than the education that they're getting at a broad strokes education facility.
Yeah, 100%. That'd be quite a cool idea, actually, wouldn't it? And you could even do it, not even if they just taught engineering. You could have, like I said, like an engineering theme, so that's their main thing. So if you like engineering, you go to that school, they still do maths and English, like the level, but you would be focusing on the other stuff. So you could just as I said, you just go to that school that fits. Oh, I might want to be like a mechanic school where once a week they go out and do mechanics. To do the rest of it as a school, once a week they go out and do mechanics, like, or have a mechanics garage on site. Like college, they need to merge college. I think college needs to be accessible earlier and it needs to be implemented in schools more.
Primary schools should be run like colleges. Yeah. Not with necessarily the responsibility that college students have. And again, sort of if you don't do the homework, you get in trouble. At college, if you don't do the homework, you don't pass the course.
Just good luck for you.
Those lecturers don't necessarily care.
That still shocks me.
You'd still need the care within primary and secondary school for them to actually do the course and achieve and whatever. But why aren't we doing that? We would seriously be letting the child lead if we had those services.
Yeah.
If that's what education looked like. And I think with the way the world is moving now, and especially with the white paper and all of that, that would solve so much of that. So much.
And build future prospects in job roles that make sense. So you're saving a need. So if you've got schools of electricians, you're not going to have electricians for God knows how many years. You know.
100%.
So you're kind of promoting and encouraging that field and that area to grow as well by focusing on it.
If the internet died tomorrow,
Christ,
there are only a handful of jobs that you could have for life.
Yeah.
The common one is taxman and mortician. They seem to be the two favourite that everyone go to. You're always going to pay taxes and you're always going to die. Yeah. So there's always going to be a job for the taxman. There's always going to be a job for the funeral director. But like you say, electrician, plumber, builder, bank staff. Even if the internet went down tomorrow, we'd still have to do something to work out banking.
Yeah, to go back, hang on.
It'd go back to checks and paper ledgers.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that's a whole different argument. It's technology in children.
Yeah.
But that aside, what are we doing?
No, yeah, that's true.
If we let that child lead, if that's the way that we could give the education to them, I think more children would thrive, disability or not.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Everyone. This is like for everyone, isn't it? Not just necessarily SEN kids. This could for everyone. I think they should have like college in place and that.
You know, similar to that setting that I was talking about with the hairdressing example. If that's what it could be for every school, that would be amazing. It would work.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if little Timmy has to sit level 1 hairdressing 4 times. Because he's still overlearning the English, overlearning the maths side of it, overlearning the chemicals and the science and the whatever. And even if he doesn't pass and decides to go home and dye his own hair, he's going to be a hell of a lot safer for sitting the course 4 times.
No, that's it. As I said, it gives them so they don't have to. It's not all in one go then. Because if you leave it too late in NFL, then they're under pressure to pass and then pass and then pass. Do you know what I mean? Because then you've got jobs, you're adults, you're at school.
Yeah, I mean, the number of people, older people now, who are going back for degrees and things like that, was skyrocketing and is now sort of levelling off. But the reason it's levelling off is because you don't need a degree anymore.
No, I think it actually sometimes will hold to you getting a degree, isn't it? Because of the years it takes you away from the field and the practical lived experience.
Oh, 100%. And especially in the SEND world, we are guilty. The amount of courses and stuff that I've been on as either part of the local authority or been invited to by other local authorities or in school training days or in care home training days, that sort of thing. And you sit there and you go, practically, what you've told me ain't going to work. I will do it because that's what you've told me to do. But you've made my life harder. The client ain't interested. And everyone's miserable.
No, that's just true. Just quickly, because I wanted to get this subject on there before and give us time to talk about it. But as you are the first male on here, we can't dance around the question about the parenting differences. And so first, I suppose, do you think there's a huge difference between a male and female's outlook, as in the approach? Do you need both? Do you think that one could do, or you can have both? Do you think there's I don't know, that was a bad question. So do you think that the roles are so defined to a male and female that you need both, or you feel like it's just a fact of just adapting your parent and you could cover both areas just being either sex?
The political answer is gender is not a factor.
Yeah.
That's the political answer. Everyone would probably agree. I say probably. Again, if you're watching this, come at me. Let's talk about it. But society and gender roles has made it difficult for men in care to be seen equal to women in care. In my opinion. I have to say in my opinion, because again, someone's going to come at me.
I think it's hard, isn't it? I think that what I like to say is, because I had this argument with the ADHD, female ADHD and male ADHD being different. I was like, it's not. It's just the society makes you present it different. So my argument would be, if you was a girl and you got brought up by men and you only saw men, you're going to act like a man. So it's not about the sex. It's about the upbringing. So you get treated like a woman or treated like a man by your sex, which will then cause you to present in different ways because society makes you feel. Not like biologically. I think some differences will be there, of course, obviously like pregnancy and stuff like that. But I think it's all environmental. Like, so you're told, oh, you're there's a lot of it is you're built in. I mean, there is a bit chemically difference, but I think it's built on the pressure of the society that you're in to what you act like compared to your symptoms and stuff like that. So again, like in school, boys can act out and get in fights and that's seen as normal. If a girl fights, that's seen as you're crazy. Why are you fighting? That's the pressure.
Yeah.
But it's not necessarily like someone with ADHD wouldn't want to fight. It's because you're a woman and that society's overhauled you, told you not to. So you couldn't express it like that, so you haven't. Not that your ADHD is so different that you would never fight. That's ridiculous. Of course you would in the right moment.
So I've got 2 stories for you on that point, right? Okay, the first one is when I first started coming up studying disability, and I'm using that as a broad term, genuinely in textbooks, they've changed it now, but back then, autism in girls and autism in boys were 100% two different pages of the book. And in girls, it was, if you're looking at a girl who's constantly being labelled as naughty, bossy, strong-headed, physical, maybe you need to look at having a diagnosis. But most girls at that age are bossy and strong-minded and will catfight and whatever. So don't always jump to autism when you're looking at autism and girls. Look for zebras, not horses. For boys, a huge list of things. But like you say, all of those boy things could just as easily be in the girls' column.
Yeah.
Solely on environment alone.
Yeah. And I think that's the argument, isn't it? And I think it's because it's said, it's one of the things that you could, the tests were done on males. Yes, but I don't think it has the impact that you think it does. That means that you're believing there's so much difference between men and females. And these people that will say that are like, mostly, I'm going to say, like, on the feminist way. And then it's like, you're saying, but you're actually enhancing your decision by saying that. By making a bigger point, by saying like the males and stuff like that, you're highlighting that you're thinking there's a difference.
Well, if a boy is high-strung, there must be something emotionally there that is wrong, because no boys are that high-strung. If a girl is that high-strung, she's a girl.
Yeah.
But no.
Yeah, so it comes to, if you looked at ADHD, but then looked at the people as people instead of male and female, I think that's society looking at them as splitting the group. Society have said, no, it must be different between male and female, and they're trying to find out. But again, and that's why I think it wasn't fair and confusing, because a lot of the studies were done on male. I got told when I got diagnosed with ADHD, girls don't get it, by a psychiatrist. Like, what?
You will have to share the name of that professional because they need to educate him.
But I think that was common at the time. I think if I spoke to my mum, she would think, yeah, no, they didn't. And it just wasn't looked at because they didn't. Again, that's society. That's not that's not the makeup. That's not because of prejudice. That's because society says that girls are overly emotional, or that's what they're meant to be like, or because that's society. Like, that's not to do with the test. Like,
when I do reports, like, I'm not qualified to give a diagnosis to anybody, but with experience, I can look at someone, spend 10-15 minutes with them and go, maybe further investigation is required, right? But when I generate these reports for people, I deliberately use gender-neutral language through the report. Because you're right, people will read that report, and if the word she is in that report, it's going to have less than the word he.
yeah.
And when a professional then says, what's the name of the person, what's their date of birth, let me look them up in the system, and you give the name and date of birth, they then go, oh. And you go, oh, what's the matter? What are you owing for? This is the name of the person and that's their date of birth. Can you kindly push the paperwork through, please? And they have no choice but to, because they can't verbally say out loud, oh, now I know it's a girl, or now I know it's a boy.
Yeah. Yeah, I honestly think that's our society not growing up and growing out of that thought process, isn't it? As a sense of it being different. And I think what that does is why I don't like entertaining the differences, because I think it causes a divide, and it does cause a divide, especially being a male as well. And what you see is then you'll get female groups, female ADHD, female warriors, and you're like, hang on a minute, just because you've just got the diagnosis now, males got told to that, but we've had the stigma around it. We've been called that for 15 years. You've only just been tied to it now, and now it's so unique to you that you're going off with your own group.
Yeah.
And that's not how the world should work, because you're causing a divide, and that means anything you're learning, the male's not in there, you're not including it, and it's not whole. You know, it's like it's only working in a certain. And again, if we dared to have male only ADHD groups, it wouldn't even make sense. Because why?
No.
Why would we do that? It doesn't. What benefit do we do only speaking to guys about it? I don't think there is any benefit to only speaking to one sex. I think as a whole, ADHD is different than everybody.
Well, then you've got the argument there as well. Is it called a parents group or is it a mothers group?
Yeah.
Because 95% of the time, it's a group of mothers with toddlers because they're either single parents or because dad's working or circumstance. It's mum going to the appointments. It's mum going to the toddler groups. And there was a film. I can't even remember the name of the film. It's Kevin Hart is in it. And he's got a kid. The wife has died. And he goes to this group and they go, no, this group isn't for you. And he says, well, it says parents on the door and I'm a parent. If it said mothers, I wouldn't have come. But it said parents. And just because I'm dad, come on now.
I'm going to call it out for what it is because I work with a lot of women, and so I can say what it is. Sometimes what happens is being that guy walking into that room when it is all females, it's almost like you've offended them because they can't speak or do or feel safe in that space because you approached being in there, and you're like, what have I done? Like it's almost like that. Oh, like that.
Oh, 100%.
It is very obvious, and it's very. And again, I get spoken to. Most of my clientele don't think I'm mugging them off, but I speak to women enough, and I have 91% of all my followers are women. So I understand when I'm saying, and I've been in groups, there is a certain bit that I don't get included in, and I get taken deliberately out of conversations that I can't. So it'd be like, oh yeah, you would understand, and they start talking about something that I can't relate to or something like that. And I think like that's so. It's one I couldn't do. So basically, it's like if I was speaking to you as Nigerian, and I just started speaking Nigerian to you in the middle of the meeting, and everyone's speaking English, and you're like, well, I don't understand what to say. It's like I'm in the group, so you have to appease that I'm there. You can't just talk over me like I'm not there, and just like And it's. I think I understand, and as well as I can speak this delicately, I understand the friction without going into it about the domestic abuse and what men have done. And again, even saying society. When I say society, I'm really talking about the man. Like saying that, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I understand it's there, but to get where we are now, like what you're doing with the book, is a perfect example. Is you cannot fight one side of it. You have to come together. You have to understand both objectives. You have to understand, as much as I say that about women being more welcoming to men, I will say men need to sort their shit because where the fuck are we? Where are we? We are not there common enough to even have the argument against there only being mothers groups, I don't think, because there's not enough men wanting to go to these groups that even factor into the fact of it caring. Because if you open it up, it's like, yes, men will moan about it, but they're not going to take up, and you're not going to see it then full with 50% men and women. No, women are still going to go.
Oh, no, 100%.
And it's like,
100%. But equally, stripping away absolutely everything else, it's the stigma of, it's going back to caveman brain.
Yep.
And in my opinion, women are the caregivers. They're the ones that look after the children. They make sure that the cave is hot and warm and safe for everybody. And man's role as caveman is hunter, gatherer, fixer. We show our love through making sure that everyone else is okay by hunting, gathering, fixing. And women make sure that everybody is okay by caring, like I said, making sure that the fire is there, making sure that the children are clothed and warmed and loved and taught lessons about life. And we've grown up now, 20, 30,000 years later. It's still sort of almost ingrained in us, even though we are trying to build a society that isn't like that. There is still that caveman stigma.
Very much, I think, very much so with men as well. I think with women, I think they're a lot more open to it, aren't they? About the changes and the society rising, that they go to work and they want to be. Men do not, I don't think, like the idea of being the caregiver. I think I'll call it as is. One, and a bit like what I said at the beginning is, I think men underestimate how hard that is. So,
100%.
Yeah, I'll have the kids. It's fine, or whatever. But I think actually being a caregiver is hard work. It's really hard work, and I think just naively, I think a lot of men out there would not understand the actual role they're trying to get into when it comes to that. What they're trying to say.
And equally, that's not either of us tooting our own horns either and being like, we are men in care. This is what we do. Like, 100%, that is neither of us coming at it like we are gods. Yeah. We are the few, but we're here. Hear me, see me. 100% not where either of us are coming from in that regard.
No.
But you're right. It's so hard to ignore that stigma. Pre-interview, we spoke about it, but my daughter recently has become a woman, right? And she was with her grandma when she started becoming a woman. And grandma was of an age where she didn't have any products or anything. And so the embarrassment of going up to the person in the restaurant behind the bar and saying, do any of you girls have anything? Congrats, you're a woman. My daughter was then, I want my mum, which is completely understandable. By the Sunday night, so she came on the Saturday. Sunday night, she rang me and said, come and pick me up. All me and mummy are doing is having a row. All we're doing is shouting at one another. I don't know why I'm shouting at mummy. I don't know why mummy is cross. I don't know why I am cross. But I need to get out. And I said, all right, mate, I'll come and pick you up. I picked her up, brought her home. We then spoke about periods. And I said to her, look, I can explain the mechanics, but I can't explain the nuance to you. I am a man. There are so many things that other women will be able to teach you that I cannot teach you. But I am happy to sit here and learn with you together. And she was like, oh, okay, cool. And what transpired was my daughter was receiving advice from her mum. Take paracetamol, do the hot water bottle, sleep in a certain position, whatever that advice was. And my daughter was going, no. Because it was the PDA in her. You've told her to do something, and now she's gone, no. And she will suffer because she won't take your advice. I, as a man, have reframed it and said, look, I'll learn with you because you don't know anything about it. I don't know anything about it. All these other women do know something about it. Let's both go and have the conversation. Let's both go and do it.
Yeah.
And a couple of days later, I had to go and, I didn't have to, I went with her to buy some period pants. And they're in the ladies section of the clothing shop. So I've gone into the ladies section of the clothing shop with my daughter, who is short. So I couldn't even see her over the rails. And everyone was giving me such dodgy looks. And it's only when they heard my daughter or walked around the corner and saw my daughter, like I'm literally sitting there with my glasses, like reading the label, like, oh yeah, no, so these ones are for heavy flow. I don't think you're a heavy flow kid. I think you might be a light flow because it's the first one, and trying to give the best advice I could with the knowledge I had. But the stigma of that, I hated it. And I would like to think that every dad with a kid in that position would do exactly the same thing that I did. But upon conversation with my mates and other adults that are men, not a chance.
Yeah. And that's crazy, isn't it? And it's because no one's had the conversation. So the stigma is that men can't do it because they're going to get dirty looks. Women will think that men won't do it because they just don't take part of it, when actually both of them are causing the issue by not having the conversation and being like, do you know what, I'm going to do it. Yeah, that's good. You should do that. When we do it, we might help you instead of staring at you. Do you know what I mean? We'll encourage that behaviour because we want to see more of it. Ultimately, that's what we're moaning at. Like, do you know? A prime example of this.
Teach me.
We come across this the other day. We were talking about this. Was at one of the drop-in sessions and was talking about codependency, right? And it come up about sharing, sleeping with the child. And I couldn't believe, right, when I was hearing that these mums were sleeping with their kids at the age of 10, 11, boys. And I'm like, what? And then it made me realise something. I was like, and they asked me like what my opinion was. And I was like, what I said was, I don't have an opinion. I don't have a choice. If I started staying in my bed with my daughter after the age of 4, and someone started saying that, social services are going to be all over me. And that's the unwritten rule, and that's no one's fault. That's not, because I suppose everyone would be like, you should save your daughter. But we just naively go for that. Men don't put themselves in that position. So the argument was, is it relevant? So if my kids haven't had that because it's not been an option, it's not an option, and your kids have had that and had that till 10, who's right? Did my kids need it and I should have done that, or do your kids not need it and you're just being over the top? How do we know? Because we haven't got that solution because it's not an option for one of the parents.
So
it made me sad. Because have I not? I was thinking, shit, maybe I should be sleeping with my kids still at 4, 5, or giving them a cuddle in bed. But I don't want to, just because I think it's weird. I've weirded myself out with it, especially with my daughter. Like,
so my daughter is codependent. Her mother and I share custody, so 50-50. She is 12, still sleeps in bed with mum. With me, I will lie next to her with the baby camera on so that I cannot get accused of anything. And I will have it on record on my phone till I walk out the room. And even then, is it creepy to have it on the entire time she sleeps so that I don't get accused of anything?
It's awful, isn't it?
I've sort of personally drawn a line at, no, you are 12 years of age. You are entitled to your privacy. I'm not going to have this recording every night you stay here because, God forbid, someone got hold of a hard drive. But I will sit with her, I will lie with her, and I will wait 45 minutes until she nods off and then leave. Yeah. And if she has to come and get me every 10 minutes till 4, 5, 6 in the morning because she wakes up and goes, I'm on my own, then that's what I would have to do. But if I were to admit that at the age of 12, I'm still in bed with her the entire night.
With no other context. Oh my God. Yeah, even saying
exactly.
it all day, even saying it, and we know that they do all the time. But like, again, bathing was another thing that come up, and there was like, yeah, we still bath our kids, and I'm thinking, what? Like, as soon as my kids were able to be like 3, 4 and independent and washing themselves, especially my daughter, you're in that bath as much as you can independently. I'm not washing their bits. Like, I'm not, especially my daughter, like 8 or 9. No way. It's not okay. Like, I don't. But then again, is my opinion forced because of the perception of the judgment of society, rather than if my daughter needed extra care till 6 or 7, of course I'd want to give that to her. But because I can't, it's almost, again, as I said, it's horrible, isn't it? It's a hard dynamic to kind of get into. But I don't. They were shocked just as much as I was shocked. But they were shocked that we couldn't do that.
Rather put a tiny bit of the legwork in. You learn it now, and then at 13, I don't have to see you in your bra and knickers. And like you say, with washing, for me, as a man, very much I was, from a safety standpoint, I will watch you up until a certain age, till you can be trusted. I know that there are other families who aren't in the position to have that level of trust with their children in the bathroom. I was fortunate enough to have that. But it's a hard one. And for me, what I did with her, especially when she was little, overlearning. And the strategy I used was wash your corners. You've got 5 corners on your body. You've got 1 corner, 2 corners, and then your 2 corners down below. Mm-hmm. They're your 4 corners. So long as those 4 bits are clean, I don't care. So long as you're not causing yourself an infection, so long as you're not getting thrush, so long as you're not getting a UTI.
It's annoying, isn't it? Because it goes by, and it's so annoying. We need to move past it. It's 2026, and we've still got so much pressure about this because again, it's not our decision. We just do it because of the society would make us question that. Like, I don't even think that I would be comfortable. Again, would you? This is another thing. Like this. I even thinking about it makes me feel sick. Like having that conversation with your daughter about who she's sleeping with openly, right? And I don't know why, because I am a snake when it comes to it. Because if you talk about my other 2 lads, I'll be like, yeah, no problem. I'll encourage it. But for some reason, but again, that's my problem to solve because I don't agree with that. I should then I would love her to be able to be open to that. So I've got to do that until I've got till 16. So I've got a while. But it's weird that automatically just for the sex and it's so different. It's so varied in your approach.
Best approach I have found in regards to those conversations. My daughter's 12, but I've had to have these conversations in different settings. And although I'm not their parents, I'm going to treat my daughter exactly the same way. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to have birth control behind the mirror. When you open the mirror of the bathroom, on a piece of paper, it is going to say 1 pack of condoms, expiry date. 1 pack of pill, expiry date. And say to them, I do not care that you're doing it, so long as you are safe. I don't need to know the ins and outs. I never had that conversation with my parents as a kid. And in fact, my parents said to me, if I find a packet of condoms on you, I'll pat you back. If I find a packet of cigarettes on you, I'm going to fucking kill you. That was about as far as my sex ed talk with my mum and dad went. And I will do the same with my daughter. It's a little bit more complicated with the disability, but it's there, it's safe. And if your mate wants to come over and you're talking about it and your mate decides that she's going to go steady with a guy and doesn't want to have that conversation with her mum, I'd like to think her parents would much rather her be safe than not do it at all. So there is always, for me, going to be a sex box, if you like, in the cupboard. Personal hygiene wipes, tampons, pads, condoms, femidoms, and I'm sure the list will get added to as she gets older.
Someone said this to me before about why we like this with our daughters, like over the top, and it's because, I can't argue it because I wanted to argue it at the time. As being a man, I wanted to defend our honour, but it was like, it's because you know what men are like. I was like, yeah, no, you're right. It's because of us. I've got that fear because I know what we can do and what we could be like. So now I'm scared and I'm going to treat her different because of men. Like, and it's like, that's what women have been saying for years. Like, I finally got it. Having a daughter, I was like, oh. Like, but I get it. We're going away from that. Like, our generation and generations come below are like way away from that and very like, you want to say, people say left or whatever, but accepting of that. But it doesn't mean that the 50-year-olds in the culture is not still there and ingrained in our society. Like,
oh no, 100%. But equally, by the time our children are 18, there will be a generation that's died out.
Yeah. And
that's the way I see it. I've lost all my grandparents. My daughter still has all 4 of her grandparents. By the time my daughter gets to 18, 20, 25 at a push, she will have lost 1, 2, or all of those grandparents.
Yeah.
It's a horrible thing to say out loud, but again, it is the reality.
It'll phase out, won't it? Because times do change, and it might come back again in a few generations' time, and we go over the topic of back. That seems to happen a lot.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, it's the same with MPs and the white paper and everything that's going on now. I think the average age of an MP is something like 50 odd.
That explains everything.
We need young people talking about it and doing it. Our society isn't going to change until we lose a generation of MPs.
Yeah.
That's the way I see it.
It's true. And you can kind of see through the cracks of what's going to happen, is it? Because it seems like they're holding on and doubling down, knowing that this is the last generation by being so extreme, because it's gone back to being extreme again, isn't it? And it's like, when you have to be that extreme, really, and playing people's anger like they are, they're desperate. And I think it's because the younger generation they're losing control of, without the anger, without the things, because they're independent thinkers. We're in a world where you can choose what you want to do now, especially choose your gender, choose who you want to sleep with. You don't have that sort of control, so you have your independent thinking, which you can't, where before, again, with the schools and the factory workers, you kind of had the bigger mould over who was going to vote for who and what the parties were like, didn't you? So you could kind of control it a bit more, but you can't now. And I think that's why they're at the moment, there's such a massive influx of just anger against SEN, against immigrants, against this person, that person, this school's teachers, and it's just like the media are doing all of this. Like, they're loving it all because we're not coming together and doing anything like constructive of it. Like,
well, I had a conversation about the book with my local councillor. So there was recently the running of local councils and who's going to take over the council and that sort of stuff in the UK. And I was chatting to my local councillor, independent, the only independent that got in my borough of London. The only independent that got in. And he said to me, I am the only one standing up for SEND in this borough. He was like, my brother's got SEND, my mum was, can't give too much identifiable information, very high up in special educational needs school provisions, and they were arguing that one of the primary schools has just had an extension built. It's taken them 5-6 years to build it, but they now don't have the students. So the part of the building they've built, the newest part of the building, they're not using. And his argument was, can we not have a specialist unit attached? Can we not use those classrooms for a specialist unit? It will free up some of the other specialist units. It will make placements better for everybody. Local borough ain't interested. Too much work, too much money. But he's the same age as me. He's the youngest as well, councillor in my borough of London.
this is it, isn't it? It's going to be the generations going before, and it's that old practice. And unfortunately, I think it's annoying because, again, without saying it about it's like the rich man. It really is. That's just like that kind of mythology. It can still be done by females, of course, but it's that old. I don't know. I don't think it's almost like I find it as well. It's almost like because they went through it the way they did, they're embarrassed. They're not embarrassed. They're annoyed that anyone else would get through with it lighter. So it's like that was done for. So because a lot of them say, don't they? Yeah, but we used to get beaten back in the day. But then if you ask the follow-up question, well, what did that feel like? Did you like it? Was you scared? Did you? And then they would realise that that's not a good practice. But because they got it, they're like, well, I had it. Why shouldn't you? And that's what your politicians and it feels like the schools kind of at a higher level are saying. Like, well, it's worked this way for this many years. Why are you moaning now? SEND's not special. Like, yeah, well, kind of is. And it's not special, but what it's opened the door is not.
It's the first letter. It's literally what the S stands for.
It is, and it's opened the door to actually realise that it's not just SEN kids, it's every child that could learn in a different way now, and times need to change from all of it. And that blows their head, I think. What do you mean we're changing all of it? No, we're not. Like...
Oh, and again, like the book, as much as it's literally got SEND professionals and SEND support in the title, any parent should know. Any parent should know about the book because, oh, you've read it. So, like, the behaviour and learning to translate the behaviour and being that voice for your child and how the child should lead, what the child leading looks like. If it sounds really big-headed of me. If everyone read the book, we'd all be all right.
No, I agree. I agree. And I'm not necessarily saying about you, but it's the message again. And why wouldn't you? Just the title alone, "Let the Child Lead," is so impactful that it makes you question: have you been doing that instantly?
100%. Like, put your coat on versus, do you want to wear a red coat or a blue coat? Well, I don't want to wear a coat. Well, come on. A red one or a blue one? I'm giving you a choice. I don't want to wear one. Okay, well then, I'm just going to carry this red one, just in case you get outside and decide it's cold. Instead of, what I hear all too often, just put your fucking coat on, we're leaving in 5 minutes. Coat, shoes, and in the car. Yeah. I've had enough.
It's been 20 minutes taking them shoes on. Like, why are you still taking the shoes on? Yeah, that again.
Why have you got 2 left shoes on now? Yeah. Go change them.
No, that's a very powerful point, actually. Because it's a difference, isn't it? And what I found, because I kind of parent my child like that, and I've used my professionalism to bring into my parenting. So again, I've kind of done what you've done. I've brought them both together because one on the own, I think, detriments the way you parent. You bring them together. I've kind of given that to him, and it's like that's like a natural consequence. So not that what people would miss in that, because you're like, well, you didn't discipline them, they got to walk out without a coat. But what they'll learn as is if they get caught in that rain and you've got the coat of safety, that they was wrong. If you
Yeah.
giving them the coat and it didn't rain, and they're going to think they're right, or it's right, they won't even make notice, but they will then say, oh my God, thank God they bought my coat. And they'll be thankful that you have done, which is a complete different feeling that you do if they've just been told to do it, because it's resistance. You told them to do it, they're angry at you, they don't want to do it anyway, but they're like, they gave me the coat, they didn't need to do that. I told them to leave it there, they didn't. Like, it's powerful, isn't it? Like, and it's putting the responsibility of the behaviour back onto the child in them situations to make them grow, and giving them choices makes them do that, doesn't it? Because they have the choice to do it, so they learn from the mistake.
Oh, 100%. I was talking to another parent recently about Mr. TV needs a nap. She was like, they wake up in the morning and from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m, I cannot get this kid away from the telly. It's what he uses to regulate. It's what he uses to keep himself chill. If the telly ain't on, he is destructive and cross and whatever. And I'm at my wit's end. I'm just going to turn the telly on. Easy life. I've had enough at this point. I don't want to get bitten anymore. I don't want to get kicked or punched or whatever. And I said to her, why don't we just let Mr. TV have a nap? She said, what do you mean? I said, right, what we'll do is we'll create a little video, and it will be a picture of a battery, and the battery will be low, and we put the video on, and we go, oh no, it looks like Mr. TV needs a nap. And have some music that they like under the battery, so that they've still got the visual stimuli, and even if they need to be watching and waiting for the battery to come back, you've got the opportunity to go, your Lego's in the corner. Why don't you play with your Lego for 5 minutes, and then we'll see if Mr. TV wakes up.
Yeah, 100%.
They've then learnt batteries, so they know that when their phone dies or their tablet dies when they're older, like, oh, Mr. Phone needs a nap. Like, you've given them those skills instead of whacking them in front of the telly, because they've not learnt anything.
No.
And you've put the behaviour back on them, because eventually they will go, Mum, your phone's dying. Your phone needs a nap. You go, oh, cheers, mate. We'll put that on charge, and then we can go and read a book.
Yeah, that's it. I threw it back to you, isn't it? And
Like,
they love that. Kids love that.
the behaviour's on you now,
My kids
kids.
would not take advantage if they could parent us too. I love it. I love it. I do that in my kid. When we did this thing, it's like, right, no shouting, right? We do this thing. If any of us get heated, yeah, this is wrong. And we have to do something like I don't know, it's like press ups or something like that. Like at the moment, like, so we've got things that I have to. I have to join MMA at the moment, jiu-jitsu, and if he has to do it, he has to make sure that he goes every day, every week. So it's just little things like it never happens, but it's a good game because he's always aware of his behaviour. So it's not necessarily for me, but he's waiting to catch me off so guard so much that he's not breaking his behaviour, and he's waiting and seeing minds, observe other people. So he's learning all of that dynamics in it. And as I said, by doing it, it's just healthy practice to do those little things. And you turn it into a game, and kids will always try and snipe you. Swearing's a good one, because how many of us don't like our kids swearing, but will swear? And it's almost like you don't like your kids telling you off for swearing, because who are you? You're a child. But again, that's old society. When if you're telling your child not to swear, you should make it a game that they can catch you out on it as well. They should. They'll love it. Like, oh, but you said, yeah.
Well, I took a completely different approach to swearing. I've been quite good on this video, to be completely honest. When I'm thinking professionally, I'm all right. Anywhere else, I genuinely couldn't give a fuck. Yeah. Like, I literally just not every other word. I'm not that bad, but the mother of my child absolutely hates my child swearing. In front of me, couldn't care less. Because what she's learned is context. She can do it with me. She can't do it with Nanny. She can't do it with Mummy. She might get away with it with her friends at school. She definitely won't get away with it talking to a teacher like that. So she's learned context about swearing. And when my mum comes over and my daughter swears, my mum goes nuts. And I say to her, she's not using it as a shock. she's not using it to get the attention, mother. She's using it because it's a word. When you add the "oh no" to it, then it becomes a thing. Don't add the "oh, you shouldn't be saying it like that." Like negative reinforcement. Don't do it.
Swearing in context, as you said, about like expression and swearing at someone, isn't it? Like, even that, like, I would say that as well. If I heard my child just go, "Oh, fuck's sake," like whatever, I would probably leave it slide. I'm not going to go in and go, "What did you say?" If I told him, heard him say to tell someone to fuck off, I'm going in there straight away. Like, what? Who? Why would you say like that? Don't say that. That's rude. Don't do it. And I get it because it's an expression thing, isn't it? But with swearing, I notice, and it's my oldest have done this to me, it's the power that they get from when you don't. If you're too heavy about not liking swearing, you've given them all they need to do. That's it. Because they will give you breakdowns, and then they realise that if they do it in public, you squirm even more. Like, and so you kind of have to. I learned because I started really hammering down. Like, don't do that. That's embarrassing. You can't do it in public. People are going to think I'm a bad parent. But then that reaction is why they do it. So every time they know it, and they know it has effect. If you take that power away, like you do, and it's not there, I guarantee their level of swearing drops. And it comes natural.
Yeah, no, 100%. Also, with that level of power, again, I flip it. So if we're at the toy shop, I really want that. Well, mate, I haven't got the money. Like, let's have a look at your pocket money. Oh, you haven't got enough. Sorry, bud. No, but I really want it. But I really, really want it. And then that tantrum kicks in. I let the tantrum go. Let her finish. I wait 5 minutes. And then I point at something and go, I really want that. Can I have that? I really want it. And I will shout and I will scream and I don't give a fuck who's looking at me. And when everyone turns around and she's like, that's really embarrassing, what are you doing? I then go,
same thing, yeah. Again, the natural consequence.
What are you going to do next time, kid? Maybe not shout, scream and throw shit all over the aisles.
That's it. Oh, no. Do you know what? I think that it's been amazing. It's been an amazing podcast. And I can't wait to get, as I said, going on the app as well and going into it. And there's been conversations that I've been waiting to have for ages and that. And I'll be happy to have, again, keep you to do more podcasts just because you might be the only guy that comes and goes cost for the next 2 years. Never know, that'd be it.
Well, if you're happy to have me back, I'm always happy to be back. I love having conversations like this. I love where they go. And like you say, it's a male perspective. Now, I've only got a handful of dads that I know, either digitally or in person. And when we get the opportunity to just... It's almost like chatting shit to your mates in the pub. Yeah. But it's not like, oh, did you watch the England game last night? It's a case of, do you know what? She put two left shoes on today. And it really fucked me off. And she was walking around in circles for hours before I noticed. Like, what a shit dad I am. Like, well, I can top that story. Mine's shit in a goldfish bowl. Like, and you just end up... But it's that support, it's that banter, and equally, it's the conversations that you feel so awkward having with mum.
Yeah. There is definitely a space for that,
or even with a female professional, to be completely honest. I deal with all the men in my daughter's school because actually... The women drive me nuts because I feel like I can't just say it straight. I feel like I have to sugarcoat it.
You have to be a most. Yeah, you can't be. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Yeah, it's like don't fix it. I don't want you to fix the problem. I want you to hear about it. You're like, well, what? So I have to be emotional when I'm giving you logical solutions. That doesn't make sense. You're emotional already. I don't want to go there. I see what you're like emotional. I'm being logical. Don't pull me to that side. Like, you know what I mean? But it's like that in schools, isn't it? Like, because you do have to adjust. Because there's certain things I can't say. I know exactly how you feel, or don't feel comfortable saying, or having an opinion of being the only guy in the room, or being the only one with that experience, more say, not just because it's against sex, but more of that experience in the room. So yeah, I understand it, and again, it's needed. I see people. Good thing is, I see like men's mental health being taken a lot more seriously lately, and like dad's clubs, dad's sheds, and stuff like that. I've seen in my local area, so that's good that we're getting to that point. But again, I vouch it has to be a fine line when you stop doing that, and then you have conversations with both sexes, because it's all right to start up like that, but if you end up doing kind of what girls do and then only ever going to meetings and talking about mental health with only other males, it's impractical, because that's not the world, is it? Like, do you know what I mean? So then you're segregating again when you're both going through males and females, like the teachers and parents, going for the same similar things and not knowing because they're not having a conversation.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I've got to the point now where, especially in professional meetings, I go in and I say, look, this is what you're going to say. This is what I'm going to say. We both know what we're going to say. Let's skip the dance and get to the middle.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Because this meeting could have been an email.
Yeah.
If it was two blokes, I would have emailed you. You would have emailed me. It'd be done.
And I'll tell you what that is. Just quickly, I have to say that talk about differences. There is something about that because I do even the communications. There is something about the way that women vocabularize on the internet, and thank God for it because they'll follow me on Facebook. Because if I had a male audience, you wouldn't get comments. Like you wouldn't get, yeah, cool mate, or yeah, like thumbs up. That would be it. There'd be no engagement, no life stories, no learning from it. And I'm thinking, Jesus Christ, we're bouncing it. Like, but it's true.
No, I know. Well, I'm feeling the same thing with my content at the moment. Like, most of my engagement, most of my followers are women. And it's all right because I'm appreciative of every follower that I get. And the message out there is the message out there. It's the whole point. But the videos when I say, from a dad's perspective, the views are toilet compared to anything else.
Yeah, and again, that is because it's deep rooted, isn't it? One, we've got a lot to answer for as in what men have been like previously, and also you also don't know again because of the domestic abuse what their experience of men are and the other stuff, of course. And it's like very morbid because we don't even have to think about that, in a sense.
No.
And it's like that happens so commonly to them. I can see why there is that friction, but ultimately it doesn't help. I use the example all the time of South Africa. So what happened was they had the white people that was in charge for years and years, being so racist, the minority few. And then what happened was Nelson Mandela come up and it started shifting. You would think at that point, you would come to a conclusion. And if black people got power, that they would go, okay, let's bring it back to fairness. They didn't. And what's happening now is the complete opposite. And it's like, where would you go if you gave to power? And I feel like that's what happens with a man and female. If you're not fair, it has to be tipping point, doesn't it? Like, no one could be right in that situation. You can't attack it with more attack. So you have to come with understanding. So you can't pick a side because that doesn't help the cause. You have to kind of come to the middle and conclusion, shake hands, see what you can deal with. Because otherwise, you're going to take the anger out, if you get too much power, back on to do the same thing that they're doing.
Yeah. So
you hear it sometimes, don't you? I'm meant to do this, you don't know what it's like to be a woman. It's almost like they want us to go through all of them literal individual experiences on our own to understand it. You don't need that. What we need, you don't need us to suffer. You need us to understand. There's a difference, isn't it? Like...
It's empathy at the end of the day. And men are seen to be less empathetic than women.
Yeah.
Not true. We all have the capacity for empathy.
I think the society makes us channel it out in different ways. Men will be more reserved of it or say it to only select through. Women are a bit more open and a bit more thing of it. I think that's society again. What you're meant to do as a man and what you're meant to do as a woman and what looks normal.
Yeah, no, 100%, I agree.
But yeah, no, brilliant. I said we could go a great day about the different stuff, but it's great.
Well, we could stay at this for hours. And if you ever get stuck for guests, have me back. We'll have round 2.
Yeah, no, definitely. And what I will say is to people is, again, I have read the book and I support the message. I think it's brilliantly written, again, from both sides of the very, very... I see a lot of, it's a professional book or it's a parent book. A parent's written a book of her Zen life or his Zen life or something like that. It's very rare you get the unique perspective of both. And I think that's what you've really got into, that you can tell from your book. And I think I'll encourage everybody. I'll put links about it, as I said, do the links, all that sort of stuff. I put it on the app and I want to show everyone. And we will be doing a workshop, but again, more in depth about that, around that for the people in the app as well. So that's great.
Yeah, no, and I'm really looking forward to it. I have plans already. Yeah. So I'm really, really, really looking forward to it.
Yeah, no. And as I said, you've got live Q&A next week as well. So yeah, brilliant. So I will say, yeah, thank you for your time today. And thank you for being the first guest. It's not easy. I don't know what it is. I like to say my autism doesn't get... I'm not as mad as I should be because my autism gets in the way. So I don't understand certain things as well. So there must be a lot more of why there isn't a lot of men out there naively that I'm just giving them a hard time for, you know?
No, it's not. It is literally, as discussed, it's society and what men are painted as.
Yeah. And I think if we look to, again, everyone as a child, you have a child together because you want a kid. So man and woman would both love that child. So again, it was the schools and teachers, it's the same, isn't it? Just do it in different ways because they're in different roles.
Exactly.
Yeah. Both got the same thing at heart. But yeah, no, thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no, brilliant. And I'll see you next week on the app.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, and anyone listening, come over, say hello.
Yeah. 100%.
listen, engage. I'd love it.
Yeah, I'll put you as a collaborator on everything as well, as it shares the views between the channels as well. So that'd be brilliant. So hopefully people get over to go onto yours as well.
No, that's brilliant.
Again, I have got 9% of men, so this could be your. They are out there on my channel somewhere.
9% of men. If you've watched this and you can hear this, come say hello.
Yeah, no, that's it. Just have the conversation. It's not that bad. It's not that bad.
No, and equally, the 94% of women you've got, come over as well.
Yeah. No, that's it. No, we'll do it. But no, yeah, thank you very much.
No, brilliant. Thank you.
Catch you in a bit.
Cheers.
In a bit.